Hey guys, good afternoon one and all, and welcome to the video. In this video, I would like to share my personal experience using KNN on production cluster. Recently, in my company, we are trying to do machine learning and KNN. So we did the settings, and later on, we had issues with the clusters and all of that. So these are the settings that worked for me. In this video, I would be talking about how to use your optimum settings, that is the mappings and all of that. I'm going to talk about that for the KNN in Elasticsearch. I already do have tutorials on my channel. If you do not know how to do machine learning on Elasticsearch, I did create sessions using cosine similarity, and if you're using AWS, you can do KNN, so you can get similar items, similar images, and all of that. So let's focus a little bit about the settings and fine-tuning of Elasticsearch. So we know the mapping and all, it's fine, but let's look at the fine-tuning of Elasticsearch. I would like to kindly go over these settings one by one. Let's go at the first settings that is given here. Index.knn.algo algo underscore parameter ef search 5112. So the default is 5112. So let's read what this says. The size of the dynamic list used during the KNN search is higher the value leads to more accurate but slower matches. So if your dimensions are 20, if your array dimensions are 20, there is no reason you should put this to 512. I would highly encourage you guys to scale it down to 100 or 80. 10 or 20 per 10 or 10% more on whatever the length of your vector is fine. But yeah, you should definitely change this number in order to optimize your Elasticsearch mapping. Second settings I would like to show you is basically index.knn.algoparam is equal to ef constructor. So as you know, the constructor size is 5112, the size of the dynamic list used during the KNN graph creation. Higher value leads to more accurate but slower indexing. Highly advisable, reduce this number to 110 or 20% more from the length of your array. This one also right here, I would say change this to 4 or 5. This is what I did for my project. It worked exactly fine. Don't change this one, it's not needed for now. So let's look at the cluster settings. knn.algoparam index thread quantity. I would say you can change this to 20. The maximum thread quantity, you can increase the threads. Definitely please do change this to true. KNN cache item expiry enabled. Whether to remove the graph that have not been accessed for certain duration of memory, you definitely want to remove the graph that have not been accessed from the memory from a certain time, right? So make sure to do that. KNN cache item expiry in minutes. So if you want to do that, usually this is fine. 3 hours should not be an issue. If you want 75% is fine for the circuit breaker. You can make it to 85%, but you can leave it to default as well. So this is basically the native memory usage threshold for the circuit breaker. Memory usage must be below the percentage of KNN circuit breaker. Okay, one thing I would like to say, if you're using KNN, make sure your cluster you have at least you're using the instance type is C5 large or C, or basically it has to have 16 GB or at least 32 GB of RAM. Otherwise, you will have performance issues. Rest all things you could leave it to default. I think it should be fine. KNN memory circuit breaker limits to 60%. You can make it to 80%. It's fine. It's not a problem. So these are the things I would recommend you to basically, in order to optimize your machine learning on Elasticsearch. So here are the settings. I would put this in the description section as well. Number of shards 20. I took this number basically. Usually per shard it has to be about 10 GB is fine. So so that's that. We had about 200 GB of data. Number of replicas, you always want to make sure you have at least one replica, because it would when your data is more read oriented, you should have a replica, because if the shards are failed or if something goes wrong, your replicas would save you. KNN, then algo params. As I said, I reduced the default to the default is 512. I made it 40. MS4, I changed that also. I changed the excuse me, KNN to true in this case. And then basically if you see it's just a job title vector or whatever name you want to give to your column. And here are the cluster settings. I would recommend KNN plugin enabled. Of course, we would enable the plugin. Algoparam index thread quantity, I have changed this from 1 to 20. And you want to make sure the cache expired is set also to true. So these are the optimal settings I would recommend you. As I said, you can come to the AWS website. And another small tip I would like to give you is when you're using KNN on production cluster. I don't know if you guys know this, but Wait, yeah. So this KNN stuff, right? You could use this in a bool query, like a must, should, and all of that, nested queries. So you can do all sort of those stuff. I have a library to also generate dynamic queries for Elasticsearch. So yeah, do not use script tags. It would heavily affect your performance of your cluster. So those are some of the advices. Another advice I would like to give you is when you are doing bulk upload, make sure you change the refresh interval to -1 in Elasticsearch. I guess it's this one. These are all the tips I would like to give you for the Elasticsearch refresh interval, Elasticsearch. Let me just show you quickly. Because when you're doing bulk indexing, you don't want to keep refreshing your stuff. So I think I had it here. I would put all the links on the description so you guys can read over it. So as I said, these are all my personal experiences, while working with Elk and all, just trying to share this things with you. So if you want to reset, you set it to null. It's given here. That's the website. I would set it to -1 if you're doing like a bulk indexing. This says that the update settings API can be used to dynamic change the index from being performance on the bulk indexing and then move it to more real-time indexing before. Change it to 1 second once your data upload is done. Thank you so much for watching. Hope this would be very, very useful for people who are working with Elasticsearch. Let me make this video a little bit. Yeah, I hope this would be very useful for people who are working with Elasticsearch. Not everyone knows about all of these stuff. I actually went through a lot of posts and stuff like that, and then actually I came to know, oh, this is how it works. So hopefully this would be useful for people who are working on Elasticsearch. And if you find this video useful, I would kindly encourage to leave a small like on the video, and sharing or commenting would be simply great. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Keep smiling, keep coding. See you guys next time.